Hi, I'm Isaac and you're watching Isaac's Bushcraft and Survival. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you some surprising ways to cook eggs out in the woods, so let's get started. Okay, so this first egg that we're going to be doing is, we're going to be doing it in a sandwich bag. You can actually boil water in a sandwich bag if you need to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make some sort of a stand to where basically I can stick a few sticks here, maybe here, build a fire and hang the bag over it so we can boil our egg and have a hard-boiled egg. So you're just gonna carve a couple of these here. And we're just gonna stab them into the ground, of course. And that should be strong enough. Whoop, our egg is rolling away. But this should be strong enough to hopefully hold our egg and our bag of water. We're just gonna stab this one in here as well. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna have this hang in between. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna pinch our bag between here and have the fire underneath with the hot coals. I might dig out a little bit of the dirt here, just so that way I can have the coals a little bit lower so it doesn't make a hole in the bag, because you don't want a hole to end up in the bag here. Okay, yeah, so I made a little bit of a hole here. Like I said, that's where some of the coals are gonna be, so that way it heats up our water in the bag here. And what I'm gonna do with this stick here is I'm gonna split it right down the center. Or relatively down the center. And I'm going to take our bag, we're gonna fill it up with water here. I do first need to get some string, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill this up with water, then we're gonna pinch it between here, and then we'll tie both of these ends together, and that way it won't pull through as easy. So I'm gonna get some string here. Okay, I'm just using paracord, that works well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill it up here. And it doesn't have to be full. I mean, that's enough water to boil our egg in. Already got kind of a little dirty, but that'll be enough to boil our egg in. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna zip it here. Try to get some of that extra air out. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it, we're gonna put the stick here and the other stick right here. Just gonna put it on the ground here because it's easier. And then I'm gonna tie one end good and tight, so that way it holds it on. And then if I can get going here, I can get the other end tied the same way. So I'm just gonna double knot it. And then I'm going to tie this other side here, and hopefully with the water on the bottom and everything else, it shouldn't leak any water out. Hopefully this will hold, otherwise the bag's gonna fall in the fire and yeah, get ruined. So you don't want that, but we'll see how well it works, I guess. Tie it tight, and as you can see, it'll just hang like this right over some of the coals. Might dig out a little bit more dirt, just so that way we have the coals down further, because like I said, you don't want the coals touching the bag, otherwise they'll melt a hole in it. And I mean, sometimes the flames can even lick up and it'll touch it and it'll be fine. So I'm just gonna cut off this extra string here, and I'm gonna get our fire going here and get our eggs together. And once I get that done, I'll be back with you. Okay, so we have our fire going. We're just gonna let it burn down into coals, and then we're gonna put our eggs on. Okay, so we left our fire burned down to coals pretty well. And we still got water in our bag. I might have to add a little bit more, depending. Because some of it leaked out because I didn't close it properly. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more to it, hopefully, here. Okay, and then I'm gonna get it on the fire to hopefully start heating up. I gotta spread out some of the coals here. Don't want flames on it, but okay. Yeah, sorry for the smoke. Okay, so hopefully everything goes well with this. That's if we don't have a leak in the bag, which I think we do now. Let's hope it works. Yeah, our bag's leaking. So I'm not sure if this is gonna work. I may have held it a little bit too close to the fire here. I don't know. It's steadily leaking. I don't know. I guess we'll have to figure it out and see. This method may not be the most effective. It just kind of depends. We'll see if it heats up or not. It may or may not. It depends. It's leaking pretty fast. Hopefully the water can boil and cook the egg before, you know, it leaks out all the way. That would be nice, but we shall see. I don't know. The water isn't boiling yet or anything, so I don't know. This may or may not work. I'm guessing it might not, just because of how it's leaking. I'm just blowing on it to keep it hot. Actually, the water's starting to boil, so we might actually get a hard-boiled egg from this yet. It's not the easiest method by far. Like I said, it's still leaking, but I do believe it's cooking the egg. It's a slow leak, so if anything, it's gonna put out your fire. It's starting to get a bunch of little tiny bubbles in the bottom here. So it's definitely heating up our water. It's just a matter of whether it'll cook the egg before it fully gives out. I'm just gonna let that sit and heat up, and hopefully it boils our egg and we can have a hard-boiled egg. Like I said, it's basically leaking in the bottom there. I don't know if you can tell, but it's leaking there. As you can tell though, there are bubbles in the bag, so it is boiling. As you can see, there are bubbles rising, so our hard-boiled egg is boiling. So we'll see if it boils before the fire goes out or if it gets hot enough to cook the egg. So I'm gonna let this cook for a little bit longer and then I'll be back with you. Okay, so we have our egg done here. I just got the fire going again because of the mosquitoes. They're kind of bad. But this has been sitting for another maybe 15 minutes or so just to cool down. And let's open it and see how our egg turned out. It is a little bit hot, so I'll have to see here. Might need to wash my hands off. I don't have any water though. I use most of it for boiling that egg, so I'm just gonna have to use my shirt or something, but I'm gonna crack it and see how it turned out. So this didn't turn out hard boiled. This turned out more of almost like a poached egg, actually, because it's not fully cooked, but not fully it's not fully cooked, but not fully raw either. So it kind of turned out like a poached egg, which I'm honestly not a fan of poached eggs. I probably didn't leave it in the water to cook long enough, so it kind of, as you can tell, it kind of turned out a little bit runnier. It's still, like I said, it's still cooked relatively good. It cooked kind of, like I said, like a poached egg, you know, kind of wobbly, jiggly. So it's just, I don't like poached eggs, so, you know, I'm not a huge fan of it. But normally I would eat it if it was hard boiled, but I'm just not a huge fan of poached eggs. So I'm probably just gonna set it over here for now. But I don't like wasting food, but like I said, I'm kind of picky when it comes to my eggs. So, but as you can tell, it turned out and it worked. If you wanted it harder, you could use maybe, like if you wanted your egg a little bit firmer, a little bit harder, you could put it in like a plastic pop bottle with like the top cut off. Because like I have a plastic pop bottle here, you can just cut the top off, put your egg in the water, set it in the fire to boil. That would work as well. That actually probably worked better than the sandwich bag method. But like I said, these are both methods you do that, you know, you'd probably do them mostly if you didn't have any other option. Because this wasn't really feasible. I mean, if you have no other option to boil it or cook it, then I do that, but there's always seems to be better options than that. And like I said, I would have eaten that, but I don't like poached eggs, so. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this type of content, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.